Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 17th of October. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, Friday sold off and closed pretty much at the lows there, which generally suggests that we could see a continuation of that sell off at some point. But at the moment, well, we did have a small continuation, but at the moment we're rallying back up towards the daily pivot. Do have the monthly pivot above us as well, which could provide a secondary target if we can get any traction from where we are at the moment. Just currently running into the 4 hourly 8 moving average here, but well, there was a sort of semi-divergence on the dailies there from Friday. There's a sort of same sort of pattern-ish, although it came up quite high with the RSI working itself off really on the 4 hourlies, but does look like there's the potential for a bit more upside, and certainly, as I say, we've got the daily pivot above us. Now, if it gets above the daily pivot, and at that point starts pushing up further, well, then I would be looking for the weekly pivot, but that could be today, could to be tomorrow, or later in the week when that gets hit. But at the moment, it's, as I say, we're seeing a bit more of a move here at this in the short-term time frame, intermediate time frame. Looking at cable. Cable, well, a bit more consolidated on Friday. It was an inside day on Friday, much more smaller range than what we've been seeing. In fact, the last 3 previous days, we've been seeing these inside days, these consolidation days, which to me, it just sort of looks like it's winding itself up for another move or a decent move. Now, we've sort of stepped ourselves out of my trend line of the lows here. It's just walking through the base of this trend at the moment. Uh, there is the weekly pivot above us, there's a daily pivot above us. We could be drawn up this morning. It's already started a little bit of a spike into the 21s. If it pushes through that 21 or moves up post 7 o'clock, post 8 o'clock, I would expect it to be pushing up for its daily pivot, weekly pivot above as well. So there's a couple of things to be looking as targets potentially for today, and certainly within a normal range for cable. Now it has got, as I said, it's been in these sort of more inside bars of late, so there is a chance that it could continue in that way. If it starts selling off, breaking the lows here, well, S1, Thursday's lows, and maybe even last Tuesday's lows could be on the table there. So we'll just see how we're going. But at the moment, as I say, that the range of the cable daily has reduced. I'm just looking at if there's any significant news. Nothing out this morning that would, to me, shake any of these European currencies up, or either these European currencies up. Dollar yen has been pushing up. It's on Friday this morning it pushed up for a while. Well, actually it gapped up and then closed. It's closed the gap. Beg your pardon. Could be down for the weekly pivot, and if we've seen the euro and the pound starting to push up, well, the yen could be on for its weekly pivot, which is below it, and it's not that far below the lows of the Asian session there. So there is the possibility of a continuation. Okay, dollar yen, Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar, well, Aussie dollar put a lovely pivot swinging from a daily perspective on Friday. It's changed the shape of things a little bit with the size of those 2 days or 3 days moves really there. May want some continuation. We're already above the weekly pivot here at the moment. We've already caught the daily pivot. If it can close back above that the monthly pivot, well then it's above three sort of major pivots, or 2 major pivots, the weekly, monthly pivot, and becomes a bit more bullish again. Well, maybe pushing up would be potential for it to push up to Friday's highs. A break of the 50 MA on the other hand, well, 200 MA and the Asian session lows here, I would expect that S1 to be hit. And finally, the Canadian dollar. The Canadian dollar's finally got some sort of movements looking like it's making some decent movement to the downside following the shove up in oil, but oil's just holding there around that $50 barrel at the moment. If it starts selling off again, well, CAD's run to the downside could be stymied somewhat, but at the moment it's well, it's got its weekly pivot just above us, and it would be a shock if it went up and caught that, and thereafter, if that's out of the way, I'm quite happy with the downside. At the moment, it's just above its daily pivot. It is on this sort of intermediate time frame, providing us with a nice bullish flag. Oh, sorry, bearish flag. Big pardon. A run into that, as I say, weekly pivot, and perhaps 50 if they come together. Would provide possibly a decent sell point for continued downside. That's pretty much it for me. As I say, there's no significant news out through the London session today, but we have got speakers starting at, oh, actually, beg your pardon, 3:45. One due to testify about pension protection fund. Okay, I'm not expecting too much from 3:45 speaker then, but there is a Speaker Fisher talking about the low interest rates at the Economic Club of New York luncheon. Well, don't know if that will create anything there either, really. So, but we have got Draghi speaking at 6:35. He's due to deliver welcoming remarks at the European Cultural Days of ECB. Okay. Well, it could be a quiet one today in that case. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.